Kevin here, your budget travel guy, with a special guest.
Hi.
Say hi, special guest.
Hi.
Yeah, you've seen her before. Well, actually, you haven't. You don't get to see her, you only get to hear her.
I'm like Wilson, the next door neighbor.
Like Wilson, the next door neighbor. So anyway, we're going to talk about expect the unexpected, some things that have happened to us and other people we know when traveling. Let's get to it. Number one of expect the unexpected. I'm in a campground a few weeks back, and I wake up to the sound about 9 a.m. of rocks banging off the side of my van. There's a mowing crew out there, 2 guys on mowers, 2 guys with weed eaters. They are just hacking across this national forest campground at a very good pace, slinging stuff everywhere. Now, if you've seen my big white van, you know it's not gorgeous on the outside, so it wasn't a big deal to me, but if I'd had something nice and newer, I'd have been really upset. They mowed over the sign for my camp spot, didn't bother to pick it up and even attempt to put it back, and they left. So a few hours later, I'm talking to the guy next to me, and he looks over, and the side window on his pickup truck is shattered. Man, that is something else. Now, this happened on a Tuesday morning. He had to wait until late afternoon on Tuesday before the camp host came back, and he had somebody to talk to. They called the company that was doing this. The guy assured that it would be no problem. They would get somebody out there the next day. So Wednesday comes and goes. Of course, nobody's out there. Call again. Hey, we can't get anybody out there on that short notice. They had to order the window. We've got to bring a guy in from Tennessee because you're in a rural area, blah, 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 blah. So now it's pushed into being late Friday afternoon. I left that spot about noon on Friday, and of course they still weren't there. And I don't know for sure if they got this guy's window replaced on Friday afternoon or not. But regardless, he had 3 extra days that he was stuck there waiting for this to be done. And if this crew, window crew, didn't get in there and get this done on Friday afternoon, then you and I both know that it would be pushed over to Monday, which would be 3 more days, and would have been 6 days that this guy would have been stuck there. Now, luckily, this guy was retired and had a flexible schedule, but not all of us, when we're traveling, are able to do that. So here is a 3 to 6 day delay for something that wasn't his fault. So it's just an example of being on the road and expecting the unexpected. Number 2, driving down the road, dealing with other people.
I was on the interstate, and the car on the other side, his tire flew off his car, bounced in the median, and bounced on my side of the interstate, which was really scary.
Would be.
That's really unexpected.
Just tire, or the entire wheel came off his car?
The entire wheel. It bounced.
Yeah. So
I'm guessing his lug nuts weren't on tight enough.
Expect the unexpected. Number 3, rainbows can be evil. We're in Alabama,
Birmingham
area a few years back. We're on the 4-lane, and this big, beautiful rainbow comes out during this little itty-bitty rain shower. Best rainbow I've ever seen, I will say. So we take the first exit, go down the ramp, get to the bottom of the ramp, jump out, take some pictures. We come back up the ramp to get on the interstate, and what does it look like on the interstate?
Oh, rows and rows of cars stopped.
Hundreds and hundreds of cars backed up because there have been accidents. There have been accidents because people have swerved, barely come off the road, tried to get out of their car on the 4-lane to take pictures, slowed down to take pictures with their little camera phones, all of this kind of silliness. And this caused accidents. Now, I tried to look this up a few days later, and I couldn't find anything in their local papers. So I'm hoping that's a good sign that no one was seriously hurt in these accidents. but it backed up cars, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of vehicles, and all of those people were inconvenienced and couldn't get to where they wanted or needed to go because of a few people being silly or selfish, trying to take a picture. Expect the unexpected. Number 4, a knock from the police in Arkansas. Now, this was in an Army Corps of Engineer campground. We were in the minivan. We had come in earlier in the day. The weather was turning rainy and nasty. It was going to be, 35 degrees that night. But it was a nice place. And we go to sleep. 1 o'clock in the morning, there's a knock on the door. It's 2 police officers that look like they're 16 years old that apparently have nothing better to do than come harass somebody. Their excuse was they talked to the guy at the dam and he didn't remember our particular vehicle coming in. Well, first of all, we came in 8 or 9 hours before that. I'm sure the guy at the dam wouldn't have known anyway. He's also not the guy you will deal with taking the money. That was a little retired couple in a separate building. So, of course, we had the receipt, produced the receipt, and I bit my tongue from saying anything too mean to these guys. I will say this, I did like this area real well, this Army Corps of Engineer area near this dam, and the next time I go through there, I will stop there, but also will stop by and have a talk with the local sheriff to make sure this silliness doesn't happen again, because it was completely uncalled for. We're in a minivan, here's a picture, nothing looks out of place. The other excuse was, they were questioning it because we had an electrical line running out to the box. Well, so did everybody else there. There were at least 30 or 35 other people there in various RVs. So it was pretty much uncalled for. I don't care what drug problem they have or whatever in that area. These guys just handled it wrong. Because if they had a question, they could have come there earlier before 1 o'clock in the morning. Or if they had a question, they could have come back before their shift ended at 6 or 7 a.m. But in no way should they be waking people up at 1 a.m. when they don't have anything solid on. So in our case, now we're awake. We end up awake for the next 3 hours. Obviously didn't get a good night's sleep, and the next day for us was a long driving day going from Arkansas into the next state. So needless to say, we didn't feel that great all of the next day because of not getting enough sleep the night before. One of these odd things when you're on the road, another expect the unexpected. Which brings us up to number 5. And number 5 would be small furry woodland creatures. Tell us about small furry woodland creatures, such as
Raccoons.
Raccoons. Yes, tell us about raccoons.
Alabama raccoons.
Alabama raccoons. We're in Alabama in a state park in the minivan, and it's hot in the summer, and I decided it would be a good idea to get some cross ventilation if we leave each of the sliding doors open 3 or 4 inches, which worked pretty well, and we had another little electric fan in there with us. There were alligators nearby, but not close, and I wasn't worried about alligators coming up in the middle of a state park with people around and somehow opening the door, so that wasn't an issue. But we went to sleep, and I woke up once to the sound of sounding like something was under the van, and I just went back to sleep and ignored it. And a few minutes later, I didn't wake up the second time, but she did. And tell us about your experience waking up.
I woke up to a noise, so I opened the door and triggered the little nightlight, and looking surprised with a syrup bottle in a Ziploc bag is this raccoon. Yeah, he had been caught. He was a little surprised, but I don't know who was surprised more, him or me.
He did run a little ways with the bottle of syrup, which was pretty good size, but he did drop it and give up so he could get away faster and run off into the woods. So the next morning, we're looking at this stuff, and realized that what I heard the first time was him dragging away a box of pancake mix, which was also sealed up inside of a plastic bag. And that was the sound I ignored. So the first time he got the pancake mix, and then he came back and attempted to get the syrup. So I'll leave it up to you of, was that coincidence or was he that smart? And now I have this image in my head of little raccoons off in the woods and little itty bitty Coleman stove and trying to make breakfast. But that's the way my mind works.
Pancakes and no syrup.
Pancakes and no syrup, unfortunately, because she's mean like that. But seriously, I have heard and read about bears being able to, you know, even if you have things sealed away like that, that you need to really lock things in the trunk of your car or van or inside of something metal, some type of container. And I understand why now, because you would think that having these things sealed up inside of good plastic Ziploc bags and then put in a little plastic storage tote or a cardboard box or whatever, you would think that would have been good enough, but apparently not. Apparently, you know, the raccoon could actually smell the food and knew what to come after. So we learned to be more careful with stuff depending on where we were after that. But again, that's another expect the unexpected. So that's some of ours I can think of kind of off the top of my head. There's others, and I'm sure there'll be more as we continue our adventures, so maybe we'll do videos on those later. But I'd like to hear what kind of experiences and unexpected things have happened to you when you're out on the road. So, you know, you can put those stories down in the comment section. If you're wondering what to watch next, if you go down into the comment section on the pin post or down in the description, you'll see links to other recent videos and popular van life videos and things we've done for this channel, tips, money saving tips, things like that. And we'll see you next time.